Hey folks, today we're going to step outside of our safe spaces and explore the brave new world that is YouTube. Normally, I just tuck tail and run at the mere thought of dissenting with a popular YouTuber, but I've run out of smaller channels to punch down at, so here we go. Let's start off with this big ol' fuck you from TJ, the Amazing Elitist.
I realized a long time ago that Democrats and Republicans are really just presenting us with a false dichotomy that probably wasn't designed to obfuscate their true agendas, but has evolved into that.
That's a pretty astute observation, TJ. If you want to actually understand what you're talking about, I would highly recommend reading the Federalist Papers, particularly number 10, where Madison explains to Hamilton how the Constitution will necessarily force people into factions, what we now call political parties. This isn't something new, this isn't something old. This has been a topic of contention since before we even ratified the Constitution.
It's funny, they divide the people up on silly things like abortion and gay marriage and transgender bathrooms. Oh my God!
You think that abortion's a silly topic because you hold a different set of values than other people. For some people, an abortion isn't the termination of a few cells that have conglomerated into a fetus. It's the destruction of a human life. And personally, I support someone's right to an abortion, but I'm not going to be an arrogant prick and say that those who are concerned about baby murder are just fucking silly. Yes, they are wrong, but that doesn't make it a silly topic.
Things that no sane person would ever give a shit about if not for the influence of irrational religious dogma.
And sure, religion is fucking silly pants and makes this discussion way more difficult than it should be, but I guarantee that if you walk around asking people, is it okay to kill babies? A few rational, logical individuals will respond, probably not. But you can't ask that question, TJ, because for you, the issue is simple. There is only one way to look at it, and it's yours. Why don't you climb down off that pedestal, cram it up your ass, and see if you can view the world a little bit differently?
And when everyone is all good and divided up, the Dems and Repubs all meet behind closed doors and smoke their fat fucking cigars and drink their expensive liquor and come together on their true agenda of maintaining a bloated and obsolescent American empire.
TJ continues in this vein for a while where anything and everything he disagrees with is obviously wrong. Honestly, that's fine. If you want to tinfoil hat it up and claim that all Republicans like big police forces and all Democrats embrace SJWs, I'm not going to spend the time responding to that bullshit, because we both know it's clearly wrong. This is just another example of how if society doesn't conform to your standards and views, it's wrong, and obviously so.
In other words, if not for double standards, they'd have no standards at all.
I left that part in, because it's pretty funny, and it's pretty true. I'll give you credit on that one, TJ.
I think it should be obvious that if a woman does not want to use her body to keep alive a developing fetus within her, she should not be compelled by a central authority figure to do so.
Really? Because I don't see a goddamn thing that's obvious when talking about abortions. I agree that a woman should have the right to get an abortion, but unlike you, I'm not caught up in La La Land where everything is obvious. How many times can a woman get an abortion before the issue changes from autonomy over her own body to it being just another form of fucking birth control? Can a woman get an abortion if her husband wants to have the kid? Does the man even get any say? I don't fucking know. Because according to you, it's obvious, but no one ever mentioned these different scenarios. Can a man force a woman to have an abortion because she's pregnant with his child, but he doesn't want to have a child? I mean, why not? Half the baby's his, isn't it? Part of that is his body. But no, it's just all her body, except for that little bit of him that's his body. I don't know. It's not fucking obvious to me. What if a woman rapes a guy and gets pregnant? Can he force her to have an abortion then? Or can she just legally steal his lineage, his progeny, his motherfucking family tree. Well, I don't fucking know. I thought this shit was supposed to be obvious.
I think it should be obvious that what substances a person puts in their own body should be up to them and not the government.
Fine, you want to get drunk or high or stoned or trip balls in your own home? I have no problem with that. You want to get shit-faced in a bar? Cool. But what happens when that guy who just snorted an 8-ball decides that it's time to go out partying? Is it illegal the moment he walks out the front door? The moment he steps off his private property? The moment he gets behind the wheel of a car to drive? The moment right after he runs over someone because he was high as fucking hell? Is it illegal then? I'd say it's pretty fucking obvious where it becomes illegal, right? It's that moment when, I don't know, you fill in the blank, because it's not fucking obvious. Is it illegal the moment they decided to get behind the wheel of a car and drive? Can we maintain that drunk driving should be illegal at least? Yes? No? Fuck. I have a lot of difficult questions to answer for something that's so fucking obvious. Maybe it's illegal right after they leave public property. Maybe it's illegal right after they leave their front door. I mean, obviously if they lock themselves in their basement, it doesn't matter what fucking drugs they put in their system, but at some point, between a tweaker getting high on bath salts in his bedroom and them literally eating another person's face in the middle of the road, I think a line has been crossed. I think a law has been broken.
I think it should be obvious that a person's religion or sexual practices or ideological positions, whatever, those things should be respected. Not in terms of respecting the beliefs themselves necessarily, but in terms of respecting the right of those beliefs and values to exist.
Okay, Islamists, I don't agree with you, but I respect your right to hold the belief that you should kill me. That belief has every right to exist. Oh shit, another terrorist attack. I wonder how that happened. Couldn't be those, I don't know, beliefs that we said were okay to exist even though they weren't, because all beliefs should be allowed to exist. So maybe some beliefs shouldn't be allowed to exist? Like, it shouldn't be a good belief to, say, kill people for religious purposes because it's fucking moronic? Or maybe that belief should be allowed to exist. Maybe that's perfectly acceptable to allow that belief to exist. The only thing I know is that it's not fucking obvious!
Obviously, there are necessary limits to individual freedom. You can't go around hurting people or stealing from them or violating their consent. In the broader business perspective, you can't pollute lakes and rivers that people and animals rely on. You can't rely on third world slave labor to make your products.
TJ, you just obviously hurt my feelings without my consent. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. And of course, a company can't dump garbage into lakes. But they can package their products with non-recyclable packing peanuts that will go straight into a landfill. Because there's an obvious difference between those two things. And nothing good comes from exploiting cheap labor overseas. Except, of course, that it keeps the cost low for the consumer, and it provides the little buggers with employment. Sure, they only get paid 16 cents a day, but that's more than they'd be making elsewhere. Or else they would be working elsewhere. That issue is just black and white. So I guess things aren't so obvious. They just appear so from your ivory fucking tower.
I don't see any political movement in America that presently embodies these values. And that's disconcerting to me.
You mean that you don't see a large group of people who feel exactly the same way you do on every single one of those issues? Oh dear! Stop the presses! What I find disconcerting is that you, TJ, someone who usually has the wherewithal to speak on a controversial subject without sounding like a bitchy-ass SJW, just published this video. You're the Amazing Elitist.
Peace the fuck out!
Usually when I watch a video like this, I don't have such an immediate and visceral reaction. Had this been some whiny-ass SJW or feminist, I probably would have moved on with a little chuckle and a smile on my face. But this was the Amazing Atheist, someone whose videos I like and respect, someone whose content and commentary I enjoy greatly and agree with on most points. I don't know if TJ was just having a bad day or what, but I would be so upset if he changed from who he was into this new guy, this bitchy ass listen and believe bullshit artist. It's a slippery slope, and at the bottom, the only person there to keep you company is Steve Shives. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but most importantly, have a great night.